Why, hello, universe. Welcome to a random live stream. Oh, yeah. Tonight's the night. Chilly night tonight out there in old South Kakalaki. Cold as probably it's been. Honestly, it's like uncomfortably cold. I went outside to have a cigarette earlier and I was like, nope. Nope. Don't want to be out here. I've lived down here for, geez, I don't know, almost a decade. And now I've finally kind of acclimated. My blood is thinned completely out. And I hate, I hate the cold. Anything below like 45 degrees, I'm like, this is unnecessary. Haven't we figured out how to move past this? Madness is what I say. I don't like it, folks. I don't like it. Yeah, so we're just going to be hanging out. I don't know. Don't have a ton to talk about today. I think maybe we might get into War of the Worlds. We might be doing that tonight. The Orson Welles radio broadcast from 1937. That's kind of where we left off last time, right? We started listening to some live Orson Welles stuff. Or not live, rather. His radio show stuff. We listened to a few interviews. Him talking about War of the Worlds. Setting that up, kind of. When we were last on NIGHTCAP. There's also, I have kind of a wacky one, too. We could get into some maritime law. You know, sovereign citizens. You know those people? Well, they're out there. Okay? There's this guy called Jordan Maxwell. He gave like a presentation about the insidious nature of doublespeak, basically. Normally I don't like, if I'm going to do a reaction video, I'll try to make it pure. I won't like watch it beforehand, but I was just like, I don't even know what I'm getting into. And if I'm going to watch this live on stream at some point, I got to at least have some notion of what's going on, you know? I wouldn't be able to really give much of a reaction because you're just kind of sitting there taking in the information as he's talking about things like birth canals versus canals and how the United States is actually a corporation. We live in America, but the United States of America is a corporation, and the president is actually a president of that corporation rather than the country itself, and that we are products. We are products of this corporation. He owns our asses. Just some light, fun conspiracy stuff, you know? Is that even conspiracy, really? I suppose it is in some respect. In a kind of a broad sense, it would be considered kind of conspiracy rhetoric. But I don't know. So maybe we'll get into that as well. Who knows? We'll see where the night takes us. Not really much going on. It's, it's the weekend or the week after Thanksgiving. Relatively quiet in terms of entertainment news and stuff. At least interesting. Any entertainment news that I give a fuck about. Which is not really much these days, I'll be honest with you. I don't really care much about entertainment news these days, or what any of these people have to say about anything. It's all like streaming shows that I don't care about and will never watch. You know? That's no fun. But let me see here. What else we got? We got some bad cheating stories. I got some crazy black supremacist lady thinking that melatonin and melanin are from the same source. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. Also, you know what I've noticed a trend lately too, when I was just like kind of looking for stuff like, oh, what would be interesting to talk about on stream or whatever. I might save this for Wednesday night when Dan joins me. More articles about sex dolls. There was another Forbes article all about kind of the integration of smart technology and sex devices, and then the New York Post, I think, had an article about a Kazakhstani bodybuilder that married his sex doll. I mean, that's like the ultimate MGTOW. If you don't know what MGTOW is, that's men going their own way. That's kind of the ultimate version of that. Guess he's figured something out, that guy. That bodybuilder dude. He figured it out. He's like, I can still get it, but I don't have to deal with all the yapping, all the talking, I guess. Maybe that's how he felt. I don't know. It's so hard to understand the mind of the MGTOW. Yeah, MGTOW is kind of like it's a little incelish, I suppose, but it's more of a choice. It's more of premeditated. Usually it's like middle-aged men coming off of really bad divorces or custody battles or whatever. They just decide, we're just eschewing this whole thing. We're going to go off and we're just not going to be with women. And a lot of them will get into kind of real dolls. I was listening to an interview, I can't remember where. It's a guy who's like a purveyor of real dolls, like the expensive one, the ones that cost like, you know, $5,000-$10,000. And he's a MGTOW himself, and that's how he got into the biz. And he was just talking about the philosophy of the MGTOW and how this kind of use this as an aid to aid you in that philosophical pursuit, that way of life. It's fascinating. I wouldn't say it's something I would want for myself necessarily, but fascinating nonetheless. Maybe we'll get into that tonight. I don't know. Maybe we'll go look up a MGTOW interview. Maybe that's how we'll start the night. Let's do it. Let's see what we can find. That might be kind of fun, actually. And I say this, I'm not like here to piss shit on people either. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm just saying, I find it a fascinating worldview. MGTOW compilation. What the hell? Where MGTOW goes wrong. Megan Fox, or Men Afraid of Women. This guy, Yo Elliott. Why I support men going their own way. MGTOW is a cult. Is MGTOW toxic masculinity? Interesting. Ooh, Jordan Peterson's opinion on MGTOW. Maybe we'll start there. That should be interesting. I wonder what Jordan Peterson has to say about the MGTOW. Red pill is not MGTOW. This one video says. You know, I might have to actually make some on-the-fly adjustments to the video too, but that's okay. Hopefully the music's there to fill the silence as I look through these videos. Jordan Peterson, I regret calling MGTOWs pathetic weasels. So we have a two-parter here. So this is obviously, this first video seems like it's from a while ago. So we'll bring that up. We'll bring that one up. We'll start with this one, see what he has to say, and then we'll go back and grab a follow-up video, which seems like it was from a few years before. Fun stuff. Pause the music there. Oh, I think we're ready to go. Pretty much ready to go. Okay, let's check it out.
Well, here's the decomposition of the fundamental archetype. The dragon of chaos differentiates on the one hand into the feminine, that's the unknown, and the feminine differentiates further into the negative feminine and the positive feminine. The negative feminine is the reason for witch hunts. It's the reason for, you know, there's a whole group online called Men Going Their Own Way, MGTOW. That's a very interesting group to go study. There's lots of them. I don't know how many of them there are, and most of them are older. Many of them are men who've been through a particularly horrifying divorce for one reason or another, and they're...
See? I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
They've had enough of women, so they tell the young men that they're teaching, never have a permanent relationship. Never share your territory with a woman. Never share your possessions. Make sure you never live together, and don't stay with one long enough to enter a common law relationship, because you will be stripped of everything that you have. Well, that's a hell of a thing to be telling people, but what's happened is that the female has been manifested in their life only as the negative archetype, and they've got that confused with all women, and that's partly you know, you got to ask yourself, if you know the mythological stories, maybe if you made the right sacrifice.
And this is something I think we see across both genders. Usually, you know, your perception of men or women or particular races or whatever is usually defined by your experiences with them. So these guys are just kind of in a vacuum, in a sense, right? The only interactions they've ever had are negative. The thing that I find really pernicious about the MGTOW, though, is they kind of poison the well for young men. They go into these incel communities where they find, or they think they found, kind of brothers, right? These guys that are just kind of socially awkward, and most of them pretty young, usually in their late teens, early 20s, or maybe into their mid 20s, for the vast majority of the ones that hang out online and whatnot. And like there's a sense that they go in there and then they kind of turn these guys off from even trying. And I don't really like that. Like, I think it's all well and good. Do whatever the hell you want. That's the way you want to live your life. Hey, fine. Go for it. But when you start kind of fucking with another generation because of your own insecurities, well, then I start getting a little, like, pissy about it. It's just because the worldview that the MGTOW expression is coming from is a fairly limited one, like he's been saying here. So let's continue.
You wouldn't have so much trouble with women. It's a good question to ask yourself first. And I would also say, you know, if you're a woman who has trouble with men, or you're a man who has trouble with women, it's not the women and it's not the men, it's you. Because the women are telling you what's wrong with you, and the men are telling you what's wrong with you. And if you don't listen, then it's you. It's either you or all men. Well, that's easy, it's all men. Well, that's certainly how it's played out in the world right now. It's like, no, it's not all men. You can be by definition. And it's not all women, that's for sure. I don't want to have anything to do with women. It's like, you're a pathetic weasel. That's the same statement.
Well, he's not wrong. And that's why Jordan Peterson, you know, especially back in the day, was like a force for good, in my opinion. Because he'd give you the straight dope. He wasn't there to coddle you or make you feel good about yourself. He was just like, no, this is the consequences of your actions, of the way you're behaving. I don't see any problem with that myself. Let's go make sure. I gotta make sure of something here. Okay. We're good. Anyways. So, let's see what he said. You know, I guess he kind of recanted this a little bit. He says he regretted saying that. Wow. Let's see what he says. Let's see what further on. The further. See what he says.
Is there a concrete example of something where you said something, and I'm not thinking of anything in particular. I'm being entirely genuine here. Is there an instance where you feel you said something that appeared to be true to you at the time, and knowing what you know?
Yes, I think I was a little dismissive of the men going their own way, because I think I called them pathetic weasels, and I had my reasons for that. My reasons were
not very nice, Jordan. Not very nice.
Roughly speaking, that
who are the men going their own way, just for context?
Well, they're a group of people, mostly on the net, who've been burned in their relationships, or who conceptualize themselves as having been burned in their relationships, and they believe that the legal structure in particular in Western countries is so tilted against men, particularly in family dispute situations and divorce settlement, that it's safer for men not to establish permanent relationships with women, not to cohabit with them, ever. And they're a large movement. Now, how large they are, I don't know, but they're large enough. And they have what I would regard as an undue influence over relatively bitter and resentful young men who haven't...
See, look at this, guys. I'm just as smart as Jordan Peterson. Wow. Cool guy Sean here going to be writing his own book. 13 rules for life. Or whatever. 13 rules for life. That's one more than 12. That's better. That's a baker's dozen. That's a gift. You're welcome.
Haven't had great success in the dating market, and who are looking for a rationale to write off all women because they're so hurt by their continual rejection. And that is not good for those young men. And so the reason that I disparaged the men going their own way was because I had seen the pernicious effect, these are often older guys, the pernicious effect of their world-weary philosophy on young men. Now, these guys think that they're just warning them, and they are warning them, but they're not just warning them. Now, the reason I regret calling them pathetic weasels is because they also have a point. I do believe that the court systems are staggeringly anti-male.
I mean, see, these are the things, you know, I think anybody can recognize, even in some of these kind of more out there fringe groups and whatnot. Like, not everything they say is false. You know, there's a kernel of truth to everything in there. That's why it becomes so attractive to people. That's why it becomes so attractive to people that are kind of lost and looking for answers. Because you'll be able to take this thing that is true and then just kind of backfill it with your own personal philosophy and your own worldview, which is not necessarily the correct one. So it's kind of fascinating, in my humble opinion.
Male. Absurdly, horribly anti-male. And I've seen my own clients, some of them who are really, really decent, hardworking, family-oriented people, demolished by the court systems. And so the men going their own way have a point. And so I'm sorry that I called them pathetic weasels, but I outlined my reasons. And so, yes, I do regret that. I have to be careful because I do have a dark satirical sense of humor, and I can utter epithets, let's say, for the sake of punctuating a point, while simultaneously forgetting that 150,000 people will listen to it. So,
well, that's the thing. I think after he had his experience and when he kind of came to prominence, he found all this kind of disaffected male culture that really latched onto him, and for good reasons too. Like, you know, he was kind of talking about purpose and talking about taking care of yourself and being forthright and creating a structure for your life. And a lot of people just don't even have that in their lives. Your parents don't even tell you that kind of shit anymore. A lot of bad parents out there that they've kind of just let their kids, I don't know, either leave the home or not equip them when they're young for the psychological tools to be productive members of society. You know, I've talked about before, like, I have some similarities with those people, or I had. And at the time, I was in a really, really low place when I found Jordan Peterson. And he kind of reinvigorated me, like, intellectually, and about the kinds of things that I was interested in figuring out or looking into. I got back into philosophy. I got back into reading. I wanted to find some kind of structure in my life. I went back to college. You know, there's a myriad reasons why I did that, but he was definitely part of that because it just taught me to broaden, or reminded me rather, to like broaden my perspective. So it's cool that he, you know, was reactive to his audience and to the needs of his audience. And that's not something you'll probably see very often with a lot of these public intellectuals. A lot of them are not curious. They think they've got the answer. And often they don't really. It's limited. It's in the same way. It's limited in the same way a MGTOW is, or an incel on 4chan or whatever.
So I regret that.
Well, okay. He regrets it. He regrets it. Now that we're talking about these the MGTOWs, though, I guess as good as time as any, I found a thread on what they call Black Twitter. Is it not there anymore? That would be weird.
Is there?
Paste. There we go. So there's this dude. He goes by the handle Unconquerably Black. He's the founder of Truly Us Media, screenwriter. I'm a Sufi to the Goofies. I could probably speak Farsi. Well, hello now. He just asked a question. Fellas, what's the worst way you found out you were being cheated on? This is a safe space. So this kind of plays into what we were just talking about. And then there's just a bunch of men, mostly black guys, coming to his Twitter page, kind of either anonymously or whatever, to tell their most awful "I got cheated on" stories. I found out I was being cheated on stories. So maybe we'll take a look at a few of them, huh? So let's just look at this first dude. One day I wake up in the middle of the night. Something tells me to check my Snapchat. I check it and I found out my girlfriend posted a snap of her laying on her ex's lap while smiling. I'm calling her, no response. I'm calling her the next day, no response. Then before or texting me back, she posted another snap of her smiling as if she had done nothing wrong. She finally calls me back later that afternoon and tries to say she was drunk and that I'm being toxic for not being understanding. Then she eventually gives me the most unapologetic, insincere apology ever, basically saying she's sorry, but the tone in her voice says she could care less. Ever since that day, I treat every girl I meet with no respect, and I just use them for rough sex. Well, that's an awful takeaway from that. That's a real weird takeaway from that. Jeez. Okay, let me see here. I saw this one earlier. This one kind of made me laugh. She came home after a night out with the girls. She had dry cum on her ass. I said, "You have cum on your ass." She looked shocked, white, and said, "That's not cum, it's vaginal fluid." The white was streaked all the way from her lower back to her butthole. Damn. That would be a rough way to find out. That would be a rough way to find out. Just some dude splooge in your girlfriend's asshole. Man. How would you not notice? You know? How the fuck did she not notice? Grab a wipe or something. Maybe that's, grab a feminine wipes. Don't people carry those around? I don't know. Let me see here. She moaned a different guy's name during sex. It was her ex. Turns out they were seeing each other after he abused her. Later, she ended her life. Jesus, I cut her out because she went back to him, and now it's my fault she is gone. Honestly, what the fuck am I even meant to do? Fucking hell. That's dark as fuck. That's dark as fuck. But see, this is a person that's kind of living with unfair guilt. I mean, he didn't do that. He didn't put that person in that situation. If somebody does that to you, I think you have every right to just be like, "Yeah, go fuck off. I'm done. I'm done with this." And he replies, people plugging their business. Okay. "I was there real time when it happened. My ex had this new friend who was a lesbian. Never met this new girl before. They come to the spot I'm bartending at and get lit. This cat burglar got my ex drunk, winked at me while walking my girl out, and gone. Coldest and wildest shit ever." Man, she knew. She knew. Let's see here. There's some good ones in here. There's a lot of them. But we'll keep going. Hey, what's up, Voyage? Okay. Some of these are a little weird, but that's okay. We'll keep going. "Well, she told me she was going to see her ex so they could talk and get their relationship over, and she returned complaining of stomach pains and ended up pregnant and never told me. And I found out from the dude she was preggo, but she killed the baby." So, shoulder shrug. God damn. A lot of darkness in this thread, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of darkness. Let's see here. I think this is maybe from a woman responding. Let's see here. "All men in this thread has cheated on the person they was supposed to be with and wanted forgiveness. Now that it's happened to them, they do not have that same energy. It isn't by accident. This is how coddled men handle trauma. They give it but cannot receive it." Well, that's presumptuous. That's very presumptuous. Voyage, I'm going through a thread of people that found their significant others cheating on them. That's what we're up to right now. And then we're going to get into some old radio shows and maybe some maritime law. Fuck it, why not? I was dating this low white shorty. I'm very white. My mistake was knowing she was faux the streets, but thinking she was gone changed that. We started off talking, then ended up dating. While we was talking like the first day, shit, I told her. If you fucking with other people, let's just leave it at that and be friends. Her ass swears up and down she only fucking me with yada yada all that. So we finally start dating and it's my brother's birthday. This bitch texting me, letting me know how far she is, all that. Bro, first thing she do is let some dude grab her ass and I get pissed off and I speak to her for a minute while I think about kicking this bitch out the party. She has the audacity to come and kiss me 20 minutes later and then disappeared for damn near the rest of the night. I'm finally ready to dip out and all that, so I find her and cuss her the fuck out and she starts crying. I'm a good, so I stop cussing her and I tell her it's okay, we literally just start fucking with each other. I thought she was being odd, crying because 6 months later we finally break up because I cussed her. This guy's like, okay, some of these people are not healthy. The whole time, like damn near every time she pulled up, she gave a black head for the she also had been fucking on some dudes on her Snap. Okay, then he finds out she was cheating with a bunch of people. Well, I mean, it seems like the signs were there, fella. Just saying. Sometimes, we can avoid these kind of traumas. Let me see. Voyage says, dude, me and my best friend met each other after a fist fight over a girl. She was cheating on me with him and on him with some guy a grade above. It's insane. Yeah, that's definitely not good. But at least you know. At least you didn't kind of get caught up in it and stuck with it for a long period of time. And then you find out later after you're in too deep. No pun intended. Let me see. Laugh out loud. She came over. I pulled them panties down and someone else's cream pie running out. I was like, nah, chill. You need to bounce. She tried to say she was wet for me. I'm attuned to scents and sights. I know cum when I see/smell it. Oh my goodness. This man's a basset hound. I'm attuned to scents and sights. I like that. I know cum when I see it and smell it. That's fucking wild right there. Let's see. Did he say anything else? And she was your girlfriend? There's no way, laughing my ass off. This sounds like he was trying to do a rando. Let's see. Yes, she was. She was the one who wanted to be official. Laugh, cry emojis. Context. We lived in a small Navy town in kind of middle of nowhere. She had lots of options. Well, there you go. There you have it right there, folks. The military. Just joking. That's pretty crazy, though. But I like that he's just so upfront. He's like, yeah, I know what cum smells like. I'm the cum king. I know what that shit smells like, dude. All right, let's see what this guy says. Flew home early from a work trip. Gave me her phone to buy her some Rihanna slides. While I'm putting my payment info in, text come in that says, can't wait to be inside you again. I just powered the whole phone off and went to another room. My whole body got hot. Man, that's a bad way to find out. You gonna go buy your girl some expensive shoes, I'm assuming? Is that what slides are? I'm gonna assume those are shoes. I'm not a worldly man, okay? But yeah, that would be a real rough way to find out. Let's see here. Oh man, had a similar situation, bro. Makes you want to beat someone's ass. Yeah, I can imagine. That'd probably be, be mildly upsetting. Let's see here. Let's see. I know it says guys, but I got one. So this is from Brittany. This is from Brittany. Prophet, I'm looking at stories of when guys found women cheating on them from Black Twitter. I'm looking for good ones. You missed a good one. Slides are what you wear, socks with like a fool. Well, there you go. Now we all know. Okay. I know it says guys, but I got one. He asked me to play Apex and forgot to mute his mic. I heard her sucking his dick like she was sopping up a biscuit. I was like, what the fuck? What is that? And he muted his mic. After like 5 minutes, he left the game. A month later, he got kicked out and needed a place to stay, so he called me on Facebook. I laughed so hard and told her to call the dick sopping bitch. Well, that's good. Good for you. I like that though. Like, he didn't even stop getting a blowjob. He just muted the mic and ghosted for a month. There you go. Let me see. Told this on the timeline before, but I was working a double, ended up off early, came home, and she was fucking her ex and sucking off her cousin. I guess they've been fucking cousins. I just left. Took me over 15 years to talk to a black woman again. And this is from Black Twitter, so that's a black dude. I guess he just got turned off to all black women after that experience. Kissing cousins. The old slurp and burp. Yeah, yeah. Let's see, what does this guy have to say? Me and this girl was dating. I thought we were exclusive. I called her and told her I was about to pull up in about 30 minutes. I got to her crib, walked upstairs to her bedroom, and sat on the bed while she was doing her hair. We're talking at least 45 minutes. Mind you, I'm still on the bed, and we're having conversations about everything. I'm like, can I use your bathroom? She's like, yeah. I go to move off the bed, and the blanket slides. It was an open condom wrapper on the bed, and it wasn't the brand I use. Crazy, right? Yeah, that's a little... is that even worth putting on this thread, buddy? I mean, we're looking for good stuff. Oh, now we got one of these mean ladies. Aki. Okay. This thread is giving me life. Men can't handle what they dish out. Only toxic men would be bothered by this comment. Man, see, men come here to commiserate in this thread. They can't even be given that kind of space without being invaded by these harpies. This is why people go MGTOW, you know? Although it does seem like kind of the circular fucking just all of these people are horrible. Maybe there's like one or two of these dudes that's not like a dirtbag as well. But, you know. Prophet says literally every single one of these is from Trapped in the Closet. I cannot confirm. You know, I don't think I've ever actually watched the entirety of Trapped in the Closet. Let me see here. Oh, but it's, you know. Man, I had a bad experience with one woman. Well, that's, you know, that can happen. And then it turns them off to just women in general. I was talking about earlier at the beginning of the stream. Why I decided to talk about this is because I was talking about MGTOWs. I was talking about all of those MGTOWs. I wish I would love to do that for Hot Reacts only, but that is definitely some heavily copyrighted stuff. Actually, the last time I did an R. Kelly video, Gotham City, I had to appeal the strike. My channel almost got a strike. I had to appeal it. I ended up winning. But, you know, because it was clearly transformative. I stopped the video every 10 seconds. But, I don't know. Warner Brothers. See here. After dating her for almost a year without having sex, she told me she was pregnant and I was the father. He's got this picture of this little Babino here. Took her and her friends on vacation, all expenses paid, and the one friend who didn't get to come called me drunk and spilled the beans on her getting gangbanged on her lunch breaks with multiple brothers. Well, that would be pretty rough. Because not only are you taking her, you're just like, yeah, bring your friends, come on, we'll have a great time. Maybe he was hoping for a gangbang himself. Or is he truly an altruist? Took her and her friends on vacation, all expenses paid. And the one friend who didn't get to come called me drunk. Yeah, you got it right, Prophet. This is YouTube, buddy. It's not D Live. What are you talking about? I don't even know. Actually, probably can't even do that on D Live. You have to go to like Rumble or YouTube or something. I saw a text on her phone saying, "You left my dick and going around fucking other dicks." I got scared but never confronted her. Some months later, one guy called and warned me to stay away from his wife. And when I asked her, she said it was her bro playing with me. confirmed from my bestie who hooked us up, and he said yes, she got married. 3 years later, she took my contact from my bestie and checked up on me. She had a daughter. Oh, wow. What a magical ending. What a nice magical ending to all that. How long is this thread? Jesus. You know, I saw the first one I saw was the one when the dude's like he found the dried cum from his girlfriend's lower back to her butthole. And I was like, this thread's got to be good. There's got to be some good stuff in here. That's what happens. I didn't do my homework. Because these are, as Prophet would say, some pretty cold takes. And some of these dudes are just like, I don't know, they got slightly slided in there, just like, Let me see here. So my best friend was my ex-roommate back in college. Long story short, my best friend calls me at 3 a.m. like, bro, don't say nothing, just listen. And I listen, I can hear Shoddy getting her cheeks clapped and screaming at the top of her lungs. My heart dropped. DTB. The funny thing about it, like women do not do and not take accountability, she tried to blame my best friend for being in her business. Well, that's pernicious right there. I don't like that, you know? If you're going to do it, you got to own it. You're going to have to just own up to it. You're just going to have to accept responsibility. Like, why would you even try to come back after that? You know? What's even the point? At that point, you might as well just, I guess, ghost, unless they had some sort of financial ties, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they own property together. Maybe they owned a pit bull or something. Not the rapper, an actual dog. That could just be me, though. Let's see what else we got here. She left for a few days back to her hometown. Was coming back after. She called drunk and wanted to hear my voice. We were talking and all of a sudden I could hear soft sucking and gagging noises. I thought I heard a guy moan. I asked what's going on. She was blowing a guy. Well, hey. Told her to stay over there when she wanted to come back and talk face to face. Told her to go stick her face on that guy. She started to cry and tell me that she loves me. And I told her to hang on. Then I hung up on her. She called back. I picked up and hung up on her again. Bitch. Well, yeah. People are so weird. If that's a true story, people are weird. People are weird. How can you love when you do that? She is seriously a sick person. She needs therapy and a holy touch to take the demon out of her. That's just crazy. Right? Oh, we got pictures with this one. Visual aids. And then we're gonna move on. I was hoping for some explosive material here. Not so much. When I found out she was laying up in my house but texting the guy down the street, this. When I put her out and he ain't even offer her a place to stay, but that's some guys. Okay. So when you coming back through when I'm ovulating? How you gonna get pregnant by me with a brother though? I'm single. Huh. Didn't you just post him earlier? Well, this is too deep, guy. You're not giving me anything to work here. When are you ovulating? You'll see me before then. This is... Come on, guy. Come on, Snook the Crook. Not enough context for me to understand what the hell is going on here. Lou the Sioux. Former GOP turned IND. Is that independent? Oh, then he gets... You want to do the Maritime Admiralty Law? It's on the docket, my friend. We can do it. Hold on. Oh. Don't start. No. Some technical difficulties. You know, I actually did take a peek at the video, and we were gonna watch it next. So if you're gonna be around, I will watch it. If not, I'll just make a video about it. Where is it? I got it somewhere. There we go. Open link in new tab. Stop it. Jim? Jordan? Jordan Maxwell. Oh, thanks, man. It's called, I gotta have some ambiance. And you do it by yourself. You know, there's dead air. At least for me there is. For me there's dead air. You gotta have some nice chill vibes for a nice chill nightcap stream. Having some tea, little whiskey. Okay, so let's check out this Maritime. Let's go Maritime. So this, I did take a little peek at this. No, Dan? No, not tonight. Sometimes I just do the nightcap ones on Monday nights. I'm probably just going to do it by myself. But yeah, dude, if you're ever in the Cheese Cave, man, feel free to call in. I mean, we could just put you on speakerphone if I really had to, I suppose. Yeah. So let's talk Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell. Famous in certain circles. They call him an American researcher. It's actually kind of hard to find like a log line about who he is. He had a show. He's written a bunch of books. The Matrix of Power, that old time religion. What else have we got here? I just want like a basic breakdown of who he is. And it's in fucking German? Well, English. Google Translate. Jordan Maxwell. This is who we're going to be looking at now. He's talking about maritime admiralty law. Jordan Maxwell, pseudonym of Russell Joseph Pine, is an American writer and researcher dealing with theology, secret societies, etymology, and occultism. Maxwell is considered a big name in the world of conspiracy theorists and serves as an example to several authors and researchers in the area, including Michael Saron and David Icke. Maxwell spent 3 years as an editor at Truth Seeker magazine, making documentaries for CBS TV network and presenting his own radio show under the ABC banner. So that's the crazy thing to me. Like, this guy was on fucking ABC, or not ABC, CBS and ABC. Controlled opposition? I don't know. One of Maxwell's hobby horses, besides symbolism and word interpretation, is so-called astrotheology, not invented by him, a theory that states that religions are based on astronomical events. Thus, the story of Jesus, birth, crucifixion, resurrection, 12 apostles, like many other beliefs in the world, would be based on the faith of the sun god Horus. It is remarkable that all these beliefs show resemblances to the cult of Horus, however minimal. Yeah, that definitely doesn't start with him. I know a lot of people into that. So we're going to check out this Admiralty Law video here. And like I said, I took a peek at it so I kind of know the gist. Because I was just like, I wasn't really sure what I was going to be getting myself into. But yeah, here is the man himself. Conspiracy Con begins. Seems appropriate. So let's roll.
Understanding words is what you really need to start doing. You need to start doing your homework and understand.
He sounds like a dude that would talk about maritime admiralty law. He's got that voice, you know?
Understanding words. If you put an S in front of words, it becomes swords. And that's what words are. They're cutting. They can cause you great trouble. Humans are word-controlled creatures. So we need to establish what words mean. Again, when we talk about law, there's a Roman maximum in law that says, "For he that would be deceived, let him." Simply meaning, if you are so ignorant as to be deceived, then that's your business, that's your problem. So you need to do your homework and find out what the words mean, especially in relation to law and government. because there is a world of occultism that is operating today throughout the world, in which you use certain words, and when those words are used in a court, they don't mean the same thing at all.
Yeah, because words are contextual, Jordan. This is something I've heard as well, though. Like when they talk about occultism, they talk about kind of they have to do everything out in the open. So a lot of times everything has kind of a double meaning to it. Double speak, or Orwellian double speak, would be another like kind of example of that, where you're using one thing, one word, to mean different things, and you can kind of trick people into basically doing like magical incantations and whatnot. Now, I'm very rusty on this stuff. It has been a hot minute since I've really, really, really gone down these rabbit holes, but maybe this is the start of a new chapter, you know?
Understanding law and the words of law, there are two things that this planet has: water and earth, water and land. Consequently, there are two kinds of law: the law of the land and the law of water. You've heard the term law of the land, but in point of fact, that's precisely what this word means: law of the land.
See? Very specific. Which, with respect to Jordan, Mr. Maxwell, you have to be very specific when you're talking about, matters of the law, legalese. Got to be done.
Because it is the people who live on land. And that is opposed to something else called the law of the high seas, or the law of water. You need to understand the difference. The law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on the land. And so consequently, the law of the land is different in every country. You can do things in America you can't do in Russia. You can do things in Africa you can't do in England.
But on the sea, do whatever the fuck you want.
So the law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on that particular land. However, there is a higher law that dominates the entire world. It's
okay, guy. All right, I'm going to let him finish his sentence.
called the law of the water.
How? Okay. I assume he's going to explain how the law of the water is the higher ethic. It's the higher law. Because, what are we talking about? He's just talking about, the sovereignty of nations, and that they make their own laws and they make their own, Sarah says it's the implication. Yes, exactly. This is how you wanted those young girls to feel?
Or the law of the high seas. The law of water is referred to as the law of money. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you're from, or where you live. Money is money. And anytime you're doing banking or using money, you are now under the law of water, maritime admiralty. If you go back in history, in ancient history, where all of this began, back in the land of Canaan, and you probably have heard in the Bible, the land of Canaan. The Canaanites were Phoenician bloodline, and in the ancient Phoenician language, Cana meant merchant banker. The very word merchant comes from mer, M-E-R, for the sea, for water. As a mermaid, we have merchant. Merchant bankers. Let me give an example of the difference between the law of water and the law of the land.
Hit me with it, Jody.
The law of water, as I said, is a law of banking, money, as opposed to the law of the...
I don't know if he made, that's a pretty big leap. That's a pretty giant fucking leap. To say because the words are derived from the same root that they belong somehow to the separate higher ethic. The laws of banking, the laws of the sea. Mermaids, merchants, you see what I'm saying? You see Canaanites.
Custom of the people of the law of the land. The Statue of Liberty.
Sarah says, I'm liquid, baby. Exactly. Literally. The law of the liquid.
must be put in water. It could not be put on American land as such. It had to be put in the harbor because it's not the statue of freedom. It's a statue of liberty. Liberty is what a sailor gets when he pulls into port on a ship. He gets liberty. He's not free.
Holy shit. This is really taking some liberty with the concept of how these words work. Especially that, what he just said there. I mean, it's just kind of a turn of phrase, honestly. Unless, maybe, you know what? This guy's written a lot of books. Maybe he knows something I don't know. One of my favorite things about these things, if like you're really drunk and it's like, or high and it's like 2:30 in the morning and you hear this, and you're like, oh, fuck, dude. Fucking law of the sea.
So America is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. We're not free or brave, period. We're not free. This is not a free country.
The crowd's like, yes.
Now let me give you an example of how this law of the water works. Why is it that you have to go to court? People are always concerned about going to court. You go to court because you play basketball and tennis on a court. How do you play tennis on a court? You play with a racket. Why? Because that's what it is. It's a racket.
Like George
And
Carlin
make
over
no
here.
mistake, they do not pick words by chance. These words are very serious. They do not use words in terms with no avail. These words are very important. When you go into a court, what's the idea of going to court? It's a game, like basketball. The whole idea in a court is to put the ball back in the other guy's court.
Dude, this guy was fucking... He was so stoked when he made these connections. When he figured this out, he's like, oh my God. Tennis, basketball, courtrooms. It's all coming together.
One team gets up and they throw the ball over to that team of lawyers. That team gets up and throws the ball back into their court. And consequently, it's a ball game. And the judge is wearing a black robe, so he is the referee. The judge is the referee. He doesn't care which side wins or loses because he's going to get paid anyway. So he couldn't care less. He's merely there as a referee, and that's why he wears a black robe. And that's another interesting subject we can get into later. But the judge is a referee between two teams. The judge, we are told, rules from the bench. The word bench in Latin is a bank. Therefore, the judge rules for the bank. Where do you find banks? You find banks on both sides of a river. They're called river banks. And what does a river bank do? It directs the flow of the current sea.
I mean, this is taking like literalism to a new level. A new level. But you know what? I believe him.
The juice. Consequently, your money is currency because it's the flow, the cash flow. And I'll give you an example of how this works. When a ship pulls into a harbor, all ships are referred to as female. Airships, rocket ships, sailing ships are always female. Why? There's a very good reason. Maritime Admiralty banking law says all ships are female because they're carrying items for money, and so consequently they are under Maritime Admiralty law. Admiralty is where we get the word admiral, admiral of the Navy. Let me give you an example of how this works. When a ship pulls into harbor, it parks at the dock, and it ties off at the dock. The captain has to provide for the port authorities a certificate of manifest, because yesterday the ship was not here. But this morning the ship pulled in, so it has manifested. So consequently, all the products, the $800 million worth of TVs or Toyotas, have manifested. So each one of those...
Does he know that these words are also used in different contexts? I mean, this is very broad. You know, because it's just colloquially you use the same words for different reasons. I'm sure he knows that. Just seems like a very literalist interpretation. Like so literal that it's almost autistic. But I love it.
Those items coming off of that ship has come off of water. And each end they has come in a ship. And consequently on a ship, all ships have a captain. The word captain comes from a Latin word capital, money. So the captain represents the money that's on board the ship. And as I said, the captain has to present to the port authorities a certificate of manifest.
Prophet says, easy to say when you're living by the law of the land. It's true. It's true. It's easy for me to make these kind of assumptions. You know, he knows something I don't. Maybe I should treat him with the respect as if he knows something I don't. I stand corrected.
For each and every item, how much does it weigh, what color is it, how many doors does it have, etc. And consequently, the captain presents a certificate of manifest. The ship is sitting in its berth. Wherever a ship sits when it docks is called its berth. She sits in her berth, berthing a ship. Consequently, all the items, as I said, coming off that ship represent money. They came in on water. They are maritime admiralty product. And this is true all over the world. Now, when you were born, your mother's water broke. And when your mother's water broke, you came out. And this is why you have to have a birth certificate, because you are a maritime admiralty product under international law. You are considered, your body is considered a maritime admiralty product. Your mother delivered you. This is why if you go to Sears and buy a refrigerator.
So by this logic, because they use the same words, you actually are part of this other system, this higher ethics system. Is that what he's saying? You're actually belong to the law of the water. That's what you're beholden to. Prophet says, you get it now, Normie. I'm starting to. I think I'm getting there. Sarah says, the best language to do this with is Greek. So fun. Prophet says, you came down the birth canal. Listen, intriguing concepts. That's all I'm saying.
They will ship it to you. They will deliver it. And that's why you were in your delivery room.
Oh my God.
Your mother was delivering a product. Maritime admiralty. You came down your mother's birth canal. And once you...
my favorite part of the video so far is the knowing laughter of the audience. Because they know. They ain't no fools. It's all clicking. It's all coming together like, oh, this guy, he's laying it out beautifully.
And as you're taking one of the televisions or the cars off the ship and it falls down and breaks, that's all right. Sometimes they're stillborn, so consequently you've lost money on that one. Therefore you have to have a death certificate, and it's always signed by the doc. The doc has to sign your birth certificate and your death certificate. All of these words and terms are maritime admiralty banking words. And therefore, if you understand lawyers and judges and courts and government are all under international maritime admiralty law. All religions, all churches in the world operate under maritime law. This is why all churches are divided into denominations, like 20s and 50s and 100s. Serious. This is why they're called denominations, because all churches are nothing more than the product of maritime admiralty banking. It's an extraordinary story of occult treason, high treason and crimes against the state. Make no mistake about it, there has never been a country on the face of the earth as far back into history as you can go. There has never existed a country in which the people rose up and demanded their right to be free.
To the goddamn
Never.
law
The
of the water.
concept of human, spiritual, intellectual, and physical freedom is a totally concept that has never, ever existed on the earth. The only time that has ever come into existence was the founding of this country, where it was understood that we were sovereigns and we owned our bodies, and consequently, since 1868, we're now on the International Maritime Admiralty Law.
That's right. Actually, I know where he's going. He's going to say that the United States is a corporation, and the president is actually just president of the corporation. But let's see here. Sarah says, this sounds like the entirety of my junior year in college. Yeah. Well, I mean, he says these things with a lot of conviction. You know? He totally believes this. 100%. And this is, the basis for, if anybody out there doesn't know, is like the sovereign citizens. Maybe actually after we're done with this video, maybe we'll go see if we can find some sovereign citizen videos. People that believe they don't need driver's license because, they actually belong to the law of the sea, the law of water. Yeah.
Think about this. When cowboys in Indian movies, when the cowboys would ride into town, they'd get off the horse, they were wearing guns. How come they could walk into a bar carrying guns? And if two guys got in an argument, they could go out on the street and draw on each other in front of the sheriff's office, and the sheriff would do nothing. How come? How come that men could go out in the street and shoot each other in front of everyone and had nothing be done about it? The reason why is
actually it's because technically they weren't allowed to, but there was like gentlemen's agreements that allowed those things to happen, and it was also whoever shot the person, like whoever lived through the duel, it was considered self-defense. That's the actual answer, Jordan.
Because before 1868, all Americans were considered sovereigns. And that's one of the nice things about being a sovereign, is you have the right to be yourself. And consequently, you need to understand that in one last point I'm going to make before I introduce your speaker, that in 1868 there was a corporation founded. Anyone can incorporate a company. Well, in 1868 there was a company incorporated. And in that particular company, the founders of that company they referred to it as the United States Corporation. And they stipulated that anybody who would be a member of that corporation or work for that corporation would be called not an employee, but a citizen. So today, if you are asked, are you a citizen of the United States, what you think you're being asked is, are you lawfully in this country to do business? That's not lawfully what's being asked. They didn't ask if you were in America lawfully. They ask you a specific question. Are you, of your own volition, out of your own mouth, testifying that you are a citizen of the United States? Because in that way, citizen of the United States means you are an employee of a foreign corporation.
Trapping you.
Operating on the international maritime law. So today, the President of the United States is the president of a privately owned company. The company is called United States. And the word president is always a word that is used in corporate law. Banks have presidents. All companies have presidents. So there's a corporation called United States, privately owned, and it has a president. President Bush is not the president of America. President Bush is the president of a privately owned company. Privately owned, out of England. And you need to understand words and terms. Because I believe that there is a divine presence in the universe that men call God, and one day that divine presence is going to move on the earth, and we're going to see freedom come back to this world. And when it does, you're going to need to understand words and terms and how they have been used to trick you.
Yeah, you get tricked into admitting that you're part of something. You agree to it. But this word magic, these wizard words, as some might call it. I like the channel that posted this, True Hemp Clothing International. God bless you. God bless you. There is a 3-hour lecture here. I am I'm very tempted. Very tempted. But we'll actually, that'll be something we can come back to. We can come back to Jordan Maxwell. Now that we know who he is, now that I've been reminded, we'll come back to him. We'll come back to old Jordan. Because that was fucking pretty broad, pretty out there, right? I mean, what the fuck is he? I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. I mean, the technicality of the United States versus the landmass America. Maybe that's true. You know, who knows? Must go deeper. Gonna have to look into this a little bit. Might have to reclaim my status as being governed by the law of water. So let's see if we can find some sovereign citizens. Sovereign citizens getting owned. Sovereign citizens in court. Ooh, that's kind of what I would like to see. Sovereign citizens appear in court. 5-minute video. Okay. Yeah, now we're cooking with oil. Let's check it out. Sovereign citizens appear in court.
Does anybody have specific and articulate facts of a crime to lead to a car frisk or a arrest? Because they need that in order to arrest us, and there is none. There is no specific and articulate facts of a crime to lead to a car frisk or an arrest. There's nothing. You guys don't have it because it doesn't exist because we're not criminals. No, but when the officers started getting scary, I locked the doors.
You locked the doors, and you stayed in your car for a half an hour, is that right?
Begging them for due process, absolutely. But I would not give due process and look up the code.
Did you resist arrest?
In no way, shape, or form did I resist arrest. That's why Officer B told me I could leave with identification.
When they pulled you out of the vehicle, did you resist what they were trying to ask you to do?
Absolutely not.
Did you resist their commands?
Absolutely not. Officer B said I may leave with identification.
Are you resisting right there? Their commands?
I'm asking them what they're doing.
How many officers does it take is holding you down right there? Are there 4
I'm
officers
seeing them all
there?
have their hands off me, so I'm seeing 4 around me, but I'm not seeing 4 pushing on me at all. I'm seeing
Are
1.
there 4 officers right there?
There's 4 officers standing around me, but they're
And
not
this is
pushing on
after
me.
you being in the car for 30 minutes, is that correct?
Begging for due process, absolutely.
On the back of my license.
I'm curious what, see, this is not fair because I don't see the whole context because, I don't know what the fuck the deal is. Asking for due process. I wish there was some kind of expounding on that. What does this person mean by asking for due process? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Hey, dummy. Prophet says, I am not driving. I am traveling across land. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You have no right to accost me, officer. The sovereign citizen movement is a loose grouping of American litigants, commentators, tax protesters, and financial scheme promoters. That seems a little harsh there at the end. Let's see what he...
Back of the car that was written down.
Saw some numbers on a piece of paper.
Do you know what those numbers are?
Nope.
Do you know the law?
Yes.
Do you know what the term?
I do. I enjoy the smugness of the sovereign citizen, though. Because he's like talking about these numbers in the back of his license. Do you know what that is? Do you know the law? And his girlfriend's like, apparently not. Fucker.
Jurisprudence means.
I've heard
Objection
some
to
of
relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Was I forcefully trying to get away?
No, you being removed from the vehicle because you wouldn't get out.
I was not forcefully trying to get away.
Come on, let's mic him up.
Is that resisting of arrest for not forcefully trying to get away?
Yeah, your actions will still resist arrest.
Officer, no, you're saying that you do not know what the code the code that was affixed to the vehicle means, which means that you might have violated the law.
Objection, calls for legal.
Okay.
Sustained.
You don't know what the law means then on that code.
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay. When we were in the
Well, it's kind of weird, though. Like, they're in court. They're asking them questions about, do they understand the law? Now, I don't know what they're referring to. But you think in a courtroom scenario, the officers would be obliged to answer these questions. I'm not trying to take the side of the sovereign citizen here, but I'm starting to, you know, I'm becoming a believer, you know. I belong to the sea. I belong to the law of water.
When you were in the hallway, and you were talking to an officer, did you assume facts, not in evidence, about my state of mind, my beliefs?
Objection calls for coup. Legal conclusion.
Yeah.
Is that what now?
Did you assume facts that were not in evidence concerning my state of mind and my beliefs? Saying that I believe something about...
He said no.
Okay. Well, clearly...
Doubt.
Objection.
No specific and articulable facts of a crime that I have committed. The Secretary of State, the UCC office told me over an hour that I have the right to claim my natural rights as a human being under common law, under God's law.
I want to see one of these guys or gals, as we were seeing here, equity, everybody, right? I want to see somebody that is like put together and can articulate a point. Because these people all over the place look a little erratic, you know? Maybe it's from being on land too long. Maybe they need to go back to the sea. But like somebody come in and be able to make a real argument and not just some kind of maybe, I don't know what you call it, schizophrenic, possible schizophrenics doing it, because that's mostly what I see. When I see the videos of the sovereign citizen, it seems like people that are not like the most emotionally stable people on the planet. I want to see somebody come in with like a tie, a binder, maybe the law of the sea, the law of water, maybe written out.
Which is the jurisdiction under a UCC remedy, which I did inform the police before all this, that they do not recognize the law, even though the code says any conflicting code is invalid. We do not understand how we could be arrested with no crime or no due process. There is no injured party. I'm an extremely law-abiding citizen. I'm a peaceful man. I do not have any history of...
What laws, buddy? Laws of the land? Or laws of water? Guess if we had a serious legal team, if we had a serious judge, maybe these questions would have been asked.
crimes nor violence under me. I'm completely vegetarian.
Vegetarian?
I don't eat an animal to eat it.
Psychopath.
I believe that I love all sentient human beings and all sentient beings on this land, God's creatures. I believe there has been no crime taking place.
I believe in the
There
sea.
are conflicting laws here.
No legal cause of action whatsoever to ever order a car frisk. There's no crime, and there was no legal cause of action whatsoever to order an arrest. If you'll notice, there's no crime, and there's no specific and articulate facts ever given to us about a crime, because there was no crime. It's very important to note that we spent a long time learning the law, and that we're law lovers, and we actually are trying to be lawyers. There are two different conflicting laws.
What now? Come again? Come again? See, this is like this clip here is just like, oh, it's a dunk clip. You know, it's like, oh, look at these crazies. But what's the bigger context here? You know? Sarah says, I may be wrong. Proper codification of law putting legal terms should be explained for them to be able to be explained. Numerical codification is for documentation. Mayhaps. Still, listen, these people don't live by our laws.
And it has definitely injured us at this point, Your Honor, not to resist arrest, to be safe because we were afraid, because we were not having due process, and we kept asking for half an hour, and we were saying, please, go and read the code.
Go and read the code. I'm traveling on land. I'm not driving. I am of the sea. All right, well, let's see if we can find another one. Because that one was okay. Sovereign citizen disrupts Spokane court. It's a short one. Sovereign citizen fails in court. Sovereign citizen Wayne Hall gets tased in court. Sovereign citizen makes first appearance in court. Sovereign citizen X. Oh, is this? No way. Is this DMX? Oh, we might have to watch that next. We're going to watch the short one, and then I believe DMX actually did this, and I think somebody has the raw cell phone footage, so we'll see. Maybe it might not be worth watching because it's not going to sound right and blah, 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 blah. But we'll give it a go. What do we got here?
For the second.
Let's see here. Hopefully they don't ban me.
Second time in just a week, a man who identifies himself as a sovereign citizen disrupted a Spokane courtroom. 55-year-old Michael Hicks and his brother-in-law, I should say, were arrested last Wednesday after a 2.5-hour standoff with police. Both men would not get out of their vehicle and had to be cut out of their seat belts. KXY4's Ian Cole has the details of Hicks' arraignment today.
Michael Hicks' appointed attorneys argued that their client was not a threat to the community and should not remain in jail on a $10,000 bond because he has no criminal record. The judge agreed, and before midnight tonight, he'll be released from jail. Michael Hicks claims he's not a regular citizen, not ruled by the laws of the government, and today, once again, he even denied the name the judge asked him to confirm.
Michael Francis and Hicks. All right, thank you, sir.
Last week, a judge ordered Hicks be held on a $10,000 bond and that he be given a mental health evaluation since he wouldn't answer simple questions. Today, it was more of the same.
I do not plead in a court of contract.
But with a different result. The judge accepted a not guilty plea and allowed him to be released from jail after Hicks said he'd reluctantly show up to the court hearings. Last week in a jailhouse interview, Hicks told KXLY4 he shouldn't have been pulled over that day and didn't cooperate with deputies because he doesn't believe in their jurisdiction to arrest him.
I am sovereign. I have sovereign rights, unalienable rights that I was born with here in America.
The problem for him now is to continue his lifestyle at home. He'll have to show up to a court he doesn't believe in.
But as I stated before, I'm under common law.
At the courthouse, Ian Cole, KXOY4, HG News.
Prophet says, you do not have authority to arrest me under the Articles of the Confederation. The Constitution was not ratified by the body politic. You do not have the authority, sir, to let go of me. You know, I got to look into it more. Maybe next time on a future stream. I want to see if there is actually, in any way, shape, or form, an articulate argument for what these guys are talking about. If Jordan Maxwell is the best it gets, I don't know if that holds much water. Just saying. Yeah, let's check out this DMX thing. X gonna give it to you, I think. Let's see. Sovereign Citizen X Uncut. This cannot be is this DMX? Or is it just some black guy? Okay. We're gonna go with it anyways. But I do believe I remember reading a while ago, because DMX went kind of fucking crazy. That I thought maybe he went the sovereign citizen route, but I could be wrong. No problem, buddy.
Out of this courtroom.
Oh, that's definitely not
I'm
DMX.
denying that because what you have said here shows
You
that
are
you
in
have
violation.
no understanding.
You are in violation of my
of
rights.
laws.
The oath that you took, you are in violation of. I am demanding
my Sixth Amendment right to go pro se, and I would like this attorney out of this courtroom.
I understand your request, and I respect that you think that you understand this process. Clearly,
Do
by
not
your
respect me,
remarks,
Your Honor.
you do not understand, and I am duty bound to make sure that you understand before I allow you to go
I
pro se.
perfectly understand. We established that the last time I was here.
Well, clearly your remarks today suggest otherwise.
According
Can
to you,
uh,
not according to the law. We're
Mr.
talking about the law, we're talking about rights. We're not talking about what you think. We're talking about what is
Mr.
right,
you can
fully
go ahead
mine.
And
That's what we're talking about here today, and that's what you're supposed to be talking about here today.
Mr. Luke, you may proceed.
Thank you. Judge, I had read the information in file 17 CF 1013.
Why aren't these guys bringing up the law of the sea? You know? Why not? They afraid?
The information is comprised of 2 counts of fraud against a financial institution. I'm going to read those elements, and I'll make the elections that are required that I think that fit the proof that the state has. Number 1, the defendant, Gregory Rael, obtained money owned by or under the custody or control of a
Yes,
financial
Prophet,
institution.
exactly.
Financial institution means a bank or a credit union chartered under the laws of this state, another state or territory, or under the laws of the United States. Element number 2, the defendant Gregory Rael obtained by means of false pretenses or by use of any fraudulent scheme
This is the American court system. These guys suck. Like, you can't even make your fucking point you come in to this dude and you can't even make your point competently about what he did? Jesus Christ, guy. Fucking get to the point.
money
for nothing
or
and
a
chicks for
monetary
free.
Instrument. A person obtains money by means of false pretenses or by use of any fraudulent scheme when, with knowledge that it is false, and they act with intent to obtain money. And finally, it says if you're satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that both elements of this offense have been proved, you should find the defendant guilty. If you're not so satisfied, you must find the defendant not guilty.
In that, those elements are the elements that apply to both counts 1 and 2 in that information?
Yes, those would be elements that would fit for counts 1 and...
You know, I guess it's not that shocking, right? There's bad people. There's people that are bad at their jobs all over the place. But, you know, let me see here. Prophet says, if money is involved in this case, it inherently doesn't fall under jurisdiction of the law of the land. Exactly. Okay, mermaid, merchant, get with the fucking program. Lawyers, we're up to your, we're wise to your schemes. We're wise to your schemes.
And to the defendant's charged as a party to the crime, but I don't know that that's particularly relevant. He was a principal actor in this with the state's evidence will show that he was a principal actor.
What does he mean by actor? What does he mean by actor? Now, we learned from Jordan Maxwell, people use specific words for specific reasons. Just saying. Riverbanks, exactly. Exactly, Prophet. Prophet, thank you for showing me that video. I've really woken up.
Thank you. And then if you can read to Mr. Rael the information in the other file and then indicate the elements as the state intends to prove them.
All right.
I object.
I, John
object to
Butcher,
these readings, Your Honor.
Assistant District Attorney for Brown
I
County,
understand.
Wisconsin.
No, you do not understand.
Hereby inform the court that count 1, the above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, October 10, 2017, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did intentionally cause bodily harm to Dan Magnan, a law enforcement officer, without his consent, and at the time of the act, the defendant knew or should have known that Dan Magnan was a law enforcement officer.
Do they have provisions for, like, I guess they must, yeah, if they say cause bodily harm without his consent. You know? Your Honor, I am not an actor, though I do experience the substrate of human emotion, sir. However, I cannot be regarded as an actor, as so stated in my charges, and thusly.
The act was in response to any action taken by a law enforcement officer in an official capacity, contrary to Section 940.203, Parent 2, Wisconsin statutes, a Class H felony, and upon conviction, the defendant may be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 6 years or both. Count 2, the above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, October 10, 2017, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did knowingly resist an officer while such officer was doing an act in an official capacity and with lawful authority.
Jesus Christ.
To wit, arresting him, contrary to Section 946.41, Parent 1, Wisconsin statutes, a Class A misdemeanor, and upon conviction, the defendant may be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 9 months or both. Count 3, the above-named defendant, Gregory Real, on or about Tuesday.
Did this officer come at him wrong? With land laws? Your Honor, I see no fault. I see no fault. He was trying to reestablish himself in his sovereign nature, looking wistfully out to the sea.
Tuesday, October 10, 2017, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, having been charged with a
Let the
felony
man speak.
and been released from custody under Chapter 9, contrary to Section 9, may be fined not more than $10,000. That's it.
Thank you. And if you can identify the elements for each of those offenses, please.
Yes.
Sarah says, judge can't even read. Prophet says the officer was obstructing the trajectory of his vessel. That's not this man's responsibility. Exactly.
1240C, which is the pattern jury instruction for battery to a law enforcement officer. Element number 1, that the state must prove. The defendant caused bodily harm to, in this case, Dan Magnan. Cause means that the defendant's conduct was a substantial factor in producing bodily harm. Bodily harm means physical pain or injury, illness, or any impairment of physical condition. Element number 2, Dan Magnan was a law enforcement officer.
The record should reflect, has stood quietly and appropriately during that time. He is accompanied by officers here today. Mr. Ray.
This man can't even get in a word in edgewise. He may be batshit crazy, but this is his fucking hearing, and all they're doing is just reading at him. I know. It's actually not that long.
Have you heard the presentation that the state has made with respect to the information?
Whoever cut this together should have cut to the juicy shit a little quicker. This context they're providing is not really that important to what the truth this man has to speak.
Into those elements.
I do not consent to the reading of those charges. The state's attorney, I would love the state's attorney to prove to me that he has legal authorization to even charge me with any crime. I've heard his gibberish, as you put it, and I would like to myself add for the record, I demand that all oral, verbal, written, signed contracts, law, etc., that I have entered into with this court, signed, spoken, be revoked, stricken from all records. I do not wish to enter any further any contracts, laws, statutes, rules, regulations, or codes orally, verbally, and or written with or without my knowledge during these proceedings.
Okay, all right. Well, that wasn't great. I thought there was going to be more of a payoff there. Sarah says this is the same as the safety check we encountered. Exactly. Now, my wife has made fun of me for years because the local small town cops have a habit of doing these things called safety checkpoints, which are not real things, and they will stop you without cause and then try to find something to write you a ticket for. And it's happened to me. And I was very upset about it. It's happened to me a couple times. Enough. And then I go to court and I bitch about it in the hallway before we even get to the court. And they drop the charges. The officer comes up to me like, "Oh, can we talk about this?" Anyways, it's ridiculous. Prophet says, "Well, Your Honor, yeah, etc. Enter with due forthwith stricken heretofore, Your Honor." Well, hey, at least that guy is speaking in complete fucking sentences without his brain gapping, where he's like, I'll give him that. You know, credit where credit's due, as they say. Yeah. Laws of the land are bullshit. I'm ready to go back to the sea. Sovereign citizen fail in court. 2 women apparently facing drug charges in Louisville, Kentucky tried to use classic sovereign citizen tactics during an arraignment. Hilarity ensues. Do we want to go there? That's an 8.5 minute clip. I mean, what else are we doing really, though? There was a crazy sovereign citizen case like 5 or 6 years ago. It actually got national attention because she died. She was a schizophrenic person. She didn't have her driver's license, wouldn't get out of the car. I think she was endangering her child. I think she might have actually tried to do something violent towards her child. It was all on camera because she was filming it. I'll have to look into that. I can't remember. But okay, sovereign citizens fail in court. Bring it up. Right after we groove to this jam for a second. I hope you can hear that. Otherwise, that would be weird. Let's go to the show. What is this bullshit?
Keisha Johnson.
Don't be
Keisha
shy, girl.
Johnson. Come on up here, ma'am.
When I'm with my child, I'm even more prone to violence against police. It's in the Articles of the Confederation. Read some fucking John J. Moron. Okay. Fine. Jeez.
No, you got to come stand at this podium. I get.
Mm-mm. Then I am
The
accepting
laws
your
of the state of
construct
Kentucky.
of the law of the land. I will not be doing this. I will be standing
Come up
here
and stand at this podium.
where
I
the
have
law
to
of
get
the
you on
sea
the record so that people so we can
reigns
see
supreme.
you with your argument.
Get to a mic, lady.
All right, and now, do you have a lawyer? No. It looks like somebody named Klein.
Lawyers are fake bullshit.
No, nobody appointed it to you. Klein was somebody who. Let me look at this, Miss Johnson. No, I don't think so. Let me look. Dale Warren was once your lawyer. You know Dale Warren? Okay. All right. So you want to represent yourself. Is that true, Miss Johnson?
True facts, Prophet. You can't have a lawyer when the laws haven't even been ratified. Living in fucking clown world, everybody.
Okay, well,
fucking
Mr.
clown
Johnson,
world.
I really don't want to create some big scene. Hang on for a second. I do not want to lock you up, but I may very well have to. I need for you to come up here and stand at this podium. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You have to come up here and stand at this podium.
She's got corns from having to fucking live on the land. She belongs at the sea.
Yes.
She's got a bunion. Makes it difficult. Just fucking go to the podium so I can fucking hear you.
What, Miss Johnson? I need to know what you're doing, Miss Johnson. I need you to stand at this podium.
Who is Klein?
All right. Next up, Chris.
Show me the law.
All right. Chris? Chris? Go ahead and lock her up. Go ahead and take her into custody. You sit over there. Nothing's going to happen.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not finished with her yet.
Jesus. What are you... I am a sovereign citizen. Prophet says, didn't mean to ruin your night with all this, but I was sick of you living under this misapprehension. All the better Sarah's here to see it too. She wouldn't have believed you otherwise. I agree. No, you're doing a service here. This is a service. First, you've given content, because I was really not sure what was going to happen tonight. We were just going down a road, and we were just going to follow it wherever it went. And I'm glad it came here. It's about time that I wake up, my family wakes up, the people wake up. I mean, this video will live in perpetuity. This until our channel gets completely obliterated by the powers that be. This will be here as a record for people. You know? Saving lives. Saving lives, really.
All right. Come up here and stand at this podium, Miss Johnson. Okay. So you're refusing to come here and stand in front of the bench. Is that true?
No, I reserve my rights, correct?
And that's fine, but come up here and stand at this podium. All right, first I want to talk about you and your case. All right, so you...
That's right, Prophet. I do this for my son.
You are charged with... my panic button doesn't work there, by the way. Anyway, you're charged with possession of marijuana, tampering with physical evidence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. All right. Well, you're charged with illegally possessing marijuana. You are charged with tampering with physical evidence and possession of drug paraphernalia. Well, there's not a whole lot more. There's not a whole lot more I can do to try to explain to you.
Okay, let's start here. Can you guys prove jurisdiction? Prove jurisdiction, because I come in under common law. Prove your jurisdiction, that you have jurisdiction over me. Over this.
She's making some compelling points. Prophet says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say fucking kids on Zoobox. I know you guys are pretty aggressively against it. Yeah, I mean, if Zoobox stands for one thing, it's against that. We're very anti-fucking kids. But you have fucking kids. That's a different story. I think that was a motion of concern. And I appreciate that. How is the lady in the back louder than the lady talking?
There are, all of our laws are codified in the Kentucky Revised Statute.
Are you sure about that, Colonel Sanders? Hey.
There you go.
This got my secret recipes.
Okay, so what else? Now, there's a simple way for me to prove jurisdiction to you, and that would be for me to ask the deputy to take you into custody. I have absolute confidence that I have jurisdiction. You do have formal charges.
Formal charges would be a complaint against me and another individual.
No, it doesn't have. I don't need another individual.
That's a citation, correct?
Okay.
That's not formal
All right.
charges.
All right. So, what do you want to do about your case today?
Prove jurisdiction to me.
I don't have to prove jurisdiction to you.
In
All
the
right.
law, it
I'm going to
says
prove
that
jurisdiction to you right now. I'm going to ask the deputy to go ahead and take you into custody.
Under what charges?
Under you are disrupting my court. I don't know where these people are.
Stop resisting.
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody give me some goddamn gravy. Somebody fill up my cup of gravy, please. My gravy is cold. Please fill it up. Take this bitch to jail. Oh, wait. Well, it says debunking sovereign citizens. This shit wouldn't happen for a second. The Terran Federation. No. It definitely would not. And if people don't know what that is, he's talking about Starship Troopers. He would not. It would not happen there. It would not stand for that kind of baloney. Let's see. Any other... See, like, I want, like, a quick, good, you know, a quick, good clip. Bitch found guilty. Execution tonight. All channels and networks. Would you like to know more? He knows it. He knows that his jurisdiction is finger licking good, Sarah. Some of these are very long. Judge has no time for sovereign citizen nonsense. Sarah says can't even button his cloak. Well, that's the gravy. It's all the gravy.
Insubordinate.
Oh, we found one. Okay, short clip, so we'll see.
You are a public servant.
This looks like the beginning of a porno.
Would you like to make your counterclaims or dispute any of the claims that I've made or my rightfully established rights and freedoms?
Tell her,
Failure
brother.
to answer is consent. I want you to know that. It actually says it, states it here. I'm sure you can read. I'm sure you're literate. Failure to register a dispute against the claims made herein will result in an automatic default statute or act against myself, a free sovereign inhabitant. Okay? You've been given notice of this. Do you agree?
I disagree.
And in what counts, on what parts exactly do you disagree?
I have to explain myself. I disagree.
You need to be under oath. Are you under oath right now? Are you under the penalty of perjury?
Cody, if you'll settle with me, please.
Of the people, the trust of the people, and you're in violation
All right,
of that
please.
trust.
All right, please.
I will not stand for this.
This is a weird.
Everybody pay attention. Turn off the
No,
camera.
sir. Will not.
No,
Freedom of press.
Listen,
Freedom of press.
You had.
I object, Your Honor.
Take this
I
man
object.
into custody for contempt.
I object. Sir, hold on. Wait. Pursue it.
Put your hands behind
I object to this abuse.
You're under arrest.
You need to stand down. Behind your back. Stand down. Stand down.
Stand down.
I'm giving you a
Stand
lawful
by.
order right
Officer.
now to stand down.
Now he's going to jail. Now he's going to jail. I don't know, like, why can't, I mean, I know it's a stupid thing, but I suppose you could just let the dude have his case heard. That was kind of weird, right? They're in this kind of a back room, and then the judge just comes in, and that happens. These sovereign citizens are being disrespected. God damn it, Ron, you slept on my couch when your wife kicked you out, and you can't even vouch for me as a sovereign citizen to this asshole judge. I thought we were friends, buddy. See if I invite you to our next fishing rendezvous. Nah. What is a sovereign citizen? That's 25 minutes long. That's too long. Guilty. Police wrestle with sovereign citizen movement. Is it really a movement, though? I mean, it's not that prolific. Church marijuana in the card-carrying sovereign citizen. That's, oh my goodness, that's an hour-and-a-half video? I'd have to watch that later. Okay, so there is a normie video here that's going to give the normie's perspective of what a sovereign citizen actually is. I hope. I just read like the blurb and I was like, oh, maybe that's not what this is. But we shall see. Test tube news.
In 2010, 2 police officers were shot and killed by sovereign citizens in Arkansas during a routine traffic stop. In most cases, sovereign citizens tend to be more of a nuisance than a deadly threat. They claim that U.S. law does not apply to them and refuse to pay traffic tickets and taxes. However, a 2014 survey of law enforcement officers found that sovereign citizens were the #1 threat in the U.S., more so than even Islamic extremists or neo-Nazis. So what exactly is a sovereign citizen? Well, the concept is a little difficult to explain, mainly because it doesn't really make any sense. Basically, sovereign citizens believe that through a series of loopholes in common law court decisions, selective readings of the Constitution, and obscure tax codes, that they do not have to follow U.S. law. They tend to argue that because they never agreed to the federal government's authority, they cannot be arrested or charged with a crime. It is difficult to summarize the reasons behind this belief because every sovereign citizen tends to have their own interpretation of common law. Sovereign citizens often renounce their U.S. citizenship, driver's license, marriage license, voter registration, birth certificate, and anything else they see as a contract with the federal government. In nearly all cases, their claims are dismissed as frivolous. Most sovereign citizen organizations charge memberships or sell DVDs promising to explain how to achieve sovereign status. The movement was originally started by a 1960s Christian white supremacist group called Posse Comitatus. One of their core beliefs is that the United States is controlled by a global Jewish conspiracy. In order to distance themselves from supporting this government while still continuing to live within the U.S., they developed the belief that they are not subject to federal laws. The group is most known for pioneering techniques known as paper terrorism. This includes filing frivolous lawsuits, fake reports of tax evasion on government officials, and similar false documents. This forces their victims to spend time and money responding to these illegitimate claims, which sometimes even leads to bankruptcy. One of the simplest arguments against sovereign citizens is that the Constitution, and by extension the federal government, has express authority.
Exactly, Prophet. Michael Brown was a sovereign citizen. Darren Wilson Pig was obstructing his choice to travel mid-street. The convenience store owner was also obstructing Michael Brown's pursuit to those cigars. Exactly. These were just people. These were barriers in his way. I mean, fuck, you know, people got their stories, but we all know the truth. We all know the truth. This is just big land law out there trying to make the case for its authority. And it's disgusting.
Over citizens of the United States. This is according to Article 6 of the Constitution, known as the Supremacy Clause. Those who renounce their citizenship must do it in a foreign country and in front of a U.S. diplomat or consular. They cannot simply declare themselves sovereign while continuing to live in the United States. As of 2010, the Southern Poverty Law Center estimated that there were about 100,000 hardcore sovereign citizens. Another 200,000 have attempted sovereign citizen arguments against things like traffic tickets and taxes. Although their beliefs are completely illegitimate and born out of anti-Semitic racism, they are a disruptive and growing force.
Hold on. Is that really where we're going? Is that really what the deal is? It's born out of anti-Semitic racism. I mean, like the concept of the sovereign citizen definitely predates what they're talking with this Posse Comitatus thing, which is, you know, Posse Comitatus means just, you know, U.S. military cannot be used as a police force against its own citizenry. But, I don't know, people use names. Maybe, you know, Jordan Maxwell might be, maybe he's onto something.
Within the United States. Although the fear of Islamic extremists has reached an all-time high in the United States, attacks are actually almost non-existent. Check out this video about what terrorist threats America is.
No, it just happens to be the biggest ones when it happens. Okay, now we're headed into this normie propaganda. This is pretty old too. It's like what, 5 years old? Yeah. Okay, well, let's see if we should we look for, I mean, YouTube is not what it used to be, unfortunately. So they're saying that the concept of the sovereign citizen, this maritime law thing, is a white supremacist, anti-Semitic thing. So if we look up Posse Comitatus on YouTube, what do you think is going to come up? Why would I want the West Wing? Fucking, it's been completely fucking whitewashed. Lee Harvey Oswald has every right to have target practice from the window, and his lunch nook, Jack Kennedy, was obstructed pursuant to that bullet. Yeah, okay, Dan. If you want to believe the official story there, just saying. Just saying. Let's see. Troops deployed under Posse Comitatus. Posse Comitatus. What the fuck? Posse Comitatus, sovereign citizen. Alright? Sovereign citizen movement. Oh, this guy looks like he's got some words for us. This is from Fox 11 out of Los Angeles. So we're going to see what he's got to say. Looks like there was a guy that was interviewed. Bullets do whatever they want to do, Sean. They aren't beholden to the fucking Magna Carta. That's true! I don't disagree. Alright, let's get... This is some guy that's being interviewed about the sovereign citizen movement. So we'll check it out. See what he's got to say.
I do not consent! I do not consent!
It's like a rap song.
Confrontations with cops.
I am asking him for his supervisor.
It's what these people have come to expect.
And it is not a crime for me to travel without a license
when they don't follow the law.
I'm giving you a lawful order.
Sometimes police get so frustrated, these confrontations become violent.
They smash in your windows. Yeah.
This is assault. This is assault. I do not consent.
In this climate of government...
Okay, I don't have the answer to this. I don't know what the answer is. But if somebody is just like kind of peacefully talking to you in their car, like what the fuck what do you really do? Like what did they do? You know, that's what like the broader context is needed, you know? I don't know. Just thinking.
Government distrust, those in defiance are staging a new rallying cry to stand up for what they believe is rightfully theirs.
Like this just a guy, it's just a fat fucking cop just pissed off that you won't like listen to him. So he pulls out his fucking baton and hits your car. Like that's, you know.
But I do not need a license or identification at any time. This is America, right? Well, I'm going to place you under arrest. No, you need to read that before you violate my rights.
Read this note. I have taped to my window, bitch.
It's about doing the right thing.
He's what some might call a modern-day sovereign citizen, but he doesn't like that title.
God is my authority. And
okay, he looks like the guy from fucking Mad TV. Will Sasso. Will Sasso. This looks like a Will Sasso character.
He is the only sovereign there is.
Goodbody, a Riverside resident, believes there's too much regulation in government. So he's taken his fight to the road, where all of us spend a lot of time. But Goodbody travels without registration, without...
I'm traveling across the living room into the bedroom to express my free right to sleep in my own bed. Do not obstruct me in my travels as I make my way toward rightful comfort and rest. Godspeed, Prophet. I respect you as a citizen of the water. Sleep well, my friend.
Without a license and without insurance.
Insurance is a scam.
Knowing police will pull him over,
A couple cameras already running.
he's ready with a camera.
Okay, do you have any identification on you? No, I don't carry identification. I follow God's law. You know about God? How he gave us this planet in the Bible, dominion over this planet.
Goodbody posts all his run-ins with the law on his YouTube channel, Freedom from Government.
Oh, I talked a great fight in court. You watch.
His
Holy
videos
shit.
have racked up more than
Gold
18
mine.
million views. And
Gold
now
mine.
he's even selling what he uses in lieu of a license plate.
These are the tags I use. I'm about to go through Las Vegas right now with them.
The tag reads private, not for commerce use. Private mode of travel. And you
Subscribe.
can guess that gets the attention of cops on the road.
Are you recording me? Yes. If a cop came up to me and asked me for my license, registration, and insurance, I would ask him if he's planning on using any of those against me in court.
Because Goodbody believes in his right to travel freely, he doesn't think he's breaking any laws. And he doesn't need to prove himself to police either.
Nope.
Here's audio from a confrontation in Orange County that he recorded.
I don't think that you need to know who I am. Who are you? Can you give me your full legal name? You guys want something out of me?
His last name is so awesome that it feels like a fake name. Goodbody. Magical.
You're gonna give me the same thing, same respect. You know what I mean?
Not really, no.
Why?
Because it's different for us.
All men are equal under the law. Is that not true?
Goodbody isn't the only follower of this growing movement.
I've complied as much as I need to.
There are thousands of people with similar beliefs all across the country. Defying the law.
I don't consent to anything.
And posting their own
I mean, like, you know, some of these videos are people just peacefully, that is a civil disobedience to a certain degree. And they are met with, like, extreme, intense violence. I don't know. Is the reaction disproportionate to the crime? Seems like it a little bit. I don't know.
Confrontations online.
Are you assaulting me? Are you assaulting me? You're assaulting me.
Are you assaulting me? It should be pretty obvious, I would imagine.
I think that there's been a major awakening in consciousness. And I can't explain why.
Yep.
I just feel like people are finally coming out of their fog.
It's impossible to know how many like-minded people there are across the country because there's no centralized leadership.
Whoa, get out now.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, that would classify them as sovereign, says the movement has been growing at a fast pace since 2000.
Claiming to privilege, not a right.
Some estimates put numbers at several 100,000 to 500,000 people.
You want to push the limit? I'm not trying to push the limit.
I feel like the police have...
They could really do something if they wanted to. 500,000 people, maybe. Even 100,000 people. Imagine the kind of damage you could do.
Been misinformed to go out and generate revenue off of the people that are supposed to be protecting and serving.
You might be surprised to hear Goodbody isn't anti-government. He doesn't support building a wall because that would represent government restricting people's travel.
We didn't make this land. We came here and we invaded it just like, you know, just like anybody else would.
He just wants to be free with what he views as his natural-born rights.
As long as I'm not doing any harm or causing any property damage, I should be able to do what I want. It's America, you know, it's supposed to be a free country.
But until the rules of the road change,
really, all we need is 1 million people to do the same thing and get out here and travel and know how to talk to the cops. We would be a force to be reckoned with.
Goodbody and those who agree with him will continue their
I mean, I have a question about this Goodbody guy. So he has this setup where he has like these plates that say private, these fake plates, these paper plates, and he has not been put away for good. And he's still out there doing that, and then he has his camera set up and et cetera, et cetera. So why hasn't, like, after repeat offenses, why has he not, like, been, like, why haven't they thrown the book at him, I guess you could say? Sarah says, no, civil disobedience is provocation. This is questioning actions. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
battle.
I do not consent.
Armed with their cameras and ready to document what they see as government abuse.
This is thuggery. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on?
Goodbody knows what he does comes with great risk. He has been arrested several times and has served short stints in jail. Luckily, he says he hasn't been in any major accidents, but
well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, he has served short stints in jail. There's not like a 3-strike rule when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just kind of uninformed on it.
He says if he was, he would pay out of his pocket for any damage.
Well, Christine, he makes money by selling his license plates and working as a reverend. While he doesn't believe in carrying a license or insurance, he does believe in following the rules of the road, and apparently very important.
This lady right here, this Elvira stand-in, she's sympathetic. She likes this Goodbody guy.
Important that they videotape everything because we saw lots of that tonight.
A bit of a following there.
Bit of a following. Bit of a following. So yeah. That's interesting. Not really, but we're going to call it that. The threat of sovereign citizens from the Newsy. This is from a year ago. Oh. This is some spicy stuff. Okay. Let's do that. See, this one is way more nefarious looking. It's a movement based on the conspiracy theory that the government used the American people as collateral in a deal with international banks. Which this is kind of going back to the Jordan Maxwell stuff, because that was kind of the core of his discussion or his argument. And so it'll be interesting to see what this Newsy clip has to say. And I feel like this is going to be way more provocative, incendiary. It's going to say like, oh, they're Nazis. That seems like the vibe I'm getting from this, just even this beginning still shot here.
Some extreme right-wing groups are immediately recognizable. Klansmen in hoods, neo-Nazis giving a
associating them
but
with
there's
this.
a hodgepodge of factions and individuals far less visible, but reportedly growing. They're called sovereign citizens. They're not just men keeping to themselves in the woods. Some members have carried out murders, attacks on police, forging passports and money. Getting a fix on how many sovereign citizens there are is slippery. The Anti-Defamation League has put the number at tens of thousands. Southern Poverty Law Center, they estimate 300,000. Both groups predict growth is likely. Even knowing what to call them is challenging. In addition to sovereign citizens, or sovereigns,
do we call them
followers go by
Nazis, sovereign citizens,
freemen, state citizens? The root of their doctrine can also be hard to define because there's no
constitutionalists. Let's go back. We gotta go back. Sovereign citizens. Here's me also refer to them terms as constitutionalists, freemen, or state citizens. Constitutionalists. That is a fucking insidious, pernicious thing to add into here. There are plenty of people that don't act any way like this. But, it's the ADL. Are you fucking kidding me? People that, believe in the Constitution, adhere to the Constitution. I'm surprised they don't have the term originalists in here. Just saying. Kind of bullshit.
The root of their doctrine can also be hard to define because there's no one central document outlining all their beliefs. A number of variations exist, but the central theme goes something like this. A corporation surreptitiously took over the federal government. The corporation went bankrupt and turned to international bankers for help. The bankers needed collateral, and the corporation put up the people of the United States. The implication is that your birth certificate and social security card, they are not just official documents, they're contracts that enslave you. Sovereigns often rip them up, throw them away. Here is a slightly different version of all this. The government, established by the Founding Fathers, had a legal system the sovereigns call common law. However, at some point, the original system was replaced with admiralty law. That's the law of sea and international commerce.
Yeah.
Under the original system, sovereigns were free. Under the new plan, they're slaves, unless they rebel. The FBI explains sovereign citizens are anti-government extremists who believe that even though they physically reside in this country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. As a result, they believe they don't have to answer to any government authority, including courts, taxing entities, motor vehicle departments, or law enforcement. The sovereign citizens movement can be traced all the way back to an anti-Semitic group from the 1970s and 80s, rooted in the Midwest. Today, many of them, including black followers, seem unaware of those origins.
Yeah, I doubt that. But let's see here. I want to see who this guy is. James Wickstrom. Okay.
In the Midwest. Today, many of them, including black followers, seem unaware of those origins. A propensity for violence among some members also concerns law enforcement. Some incidents include, in 2010, a father and son who were sovereign citizens gunned down 2 police officers on Interstate 40 near West Memphis, Arkansas. In 2012, self-described sovereigns ambushed and shot dead 2 sheriff's deputies in St. John the Baptist Parish in Louisiana. In 2016, an ex-Marine who had become a sovereign citizen killed 3 law officers in Baton Rouge. Those are fairly recent examples, but there's one that goes back to 1995, worth noting. Terry Nichols, who collaborated with Timothy McVeigh in the Oklahoma City bombing, claimed he was a sovereign citizen. this once obscure group seems to be attracting new followers, and as they move into the national security spotlight, their effect on America's future is still a lingering question.
Oh my God. And they have the Oklahoma City bombing picture at the end there. Like, that's, you know, I'm not saying you have to agree with these people or like these people or whatever, but come on. That's pretty, that's provocative at the very least. Provocative at the very least. I was trying to find just a clip of this dude. James Wickstrom. The Already Silent War. Alright, let's look into it. Let's do it. Let's get spicy. We're on the margins of spiciness right now. Let's see. Will this get our channel fucking completely blown up? Maybe. Hold on. Ooh, look at that audio quality. This is an old clip. Like I said, I don't know who this guy is. I know they've said he's anti-Semitic. So you take that for what it is. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, look, I love that open air noise.
Welcome to our Bible sermon today in the name of Yahweh.
Hey now.
Because first we're going to praise his name, because that's number one on the agenda. To praise the name of Yahweh. And of course that's followed up by fulfilling the first commandment that you shall have no one or nothing ahead of Yahweh in your life. Is that written? That is written. And as I told you many times before, Enoch, the patriarch that was taken up in a chariot of fire, stated explicitly in the writings of Enoch that Yahweh said the first thing and the main reason he gave you a tongue was to praise his name. Whatever else you do with it is your business. But he also said every word you would say would be recorded. So sometime it's best left unsaid rather than saying it. That's what a wise man does. I'm James Wickstrom, a teacher of Yahweh. To the lost sheep of the house of Jacob, who is surnamed Israel, who are the white western European peoples and the nations thereof, fulfilling all the prophecy as set down by Jeremiah the prophet.
Goodness. Oh.
You know, people get so dismayed.
Shots fired.
With wondering what's going on today because they haven't taken the time to realize that what they call the Bible or the books
is actually bullshit. You belong in the sea. Is history.
This is very
important. Here we go.
Now, they'll admit that the i.e. Old Testament is history about a people called Israel and the Hebrews, but it's more than that. The Shemites are talked about in there. The Sethites are talked about in there. Adam is talked about in there. And the pre-creation or the pre-Adamic beings are mentioned and talked about in there, as well as the children of perdition. The children of the wicked one, Cain, who came forth through the seduction of Eve in the garden, which brought forth that evil seed and that wicked seed. That 1 John tells you very clearly that Cain was of the wicked one, and we know that the wicked one is Satan, because that is recorded many times through the scriptures in the book of Matthew, the book of John, all right? And even by John the Divine in Revelations. So you see, it's very important if only people would realize that this is a book of history, of his story. History, his story, Yahweh's story to his people. That's very simple.
Simple.
They would start to understand and comprehend what is taking place around them and why it's happening. But see, an enemy is among us that is very subtle and very cunning. And what they did is, they said, okay, you can believe in this book called the Bible and in its history content, but only in the Old Testament. Because the New Testament is all about religion.
Who the fuck said that? That's like when he says they. Who are they? Is he talking about the Jews? Do the Jews say that? Is that what he's saying? I'm assuming so.
See? And they become it.
See?
So they split history with that 400 and some years between the book of Malachi going into the so-called New Testament when we talk about Matthew, and all of a sudden people say, oh yeah, because when you mention the Bible, because you see, here we are in Malachi, it's 397 BC. 397 years BC. You don't pick up any more time until you go to the book of Matthew, and you've got to go up into the book of chapter 3 of Matthew, and you pick up AD 26. Oh, see, so they created a schism so they could lie to you and say, oh, sure, okay, the history's there in the Old Testament, but the New Testament's about religion. Because when you talk to a person today and say, you know, I'd like to talk to you about the Bible. Boom! Right away, the switch is clicked, and they start thinking about religion instead of history. You know, aren't not the books of Matthew history books? Are not the books of John history book? Are not the books of Acts history books of events and chains of events?
No, they're not. I mean, you could say they're testimonials to a certain extent, but to suggest that they are written as history is probably not true.
Events and times and places and occurrences, are not they history books? How about Corinthians? Is that a history book in the writing of history?
Is it?
All the way back to AD 59. Why would they put a date there if it wasn't a history book? It's not a book of religion. It's a book of history about a people and to a people called what? Israelites.
Well, it's about a cultural interpretation of a time. It's really not it's not history. So this guy's wrong.
Who took on another name, okay, as so-called Christ's sons, Yahweh's sons, okay, Christos, Yahweh's sons. They took his name out. Children of the light. I am the light, the truth, and the way. Boy, that's a tough one there, you know. And so what they've done is that the Roman Catholic Church, working in collusion with the Jews and the children of perdition, Jewry, the light murders, the murders of the light, the murders of I am the truth, the light, and the way, the murders of Yahweh, created the subterfusion in your mind. You can say, well, geez, you see gas is up to $3.39 a gallon. Oh, yeah, I can't make it. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, the milk's going up $6 a gallon pretty soon, too. Oh, yeah, you know who's behind it? I said the Jews are behind it.
The Jews. Oh.
And yet, soon as you say Jews, they think, oh, my church said they're God's chosen people, and if anyone curses the Jews, God will curse them. Because that's what they teach.
That's what
I'll tell you what,
listen, I grew up Catholic, and they don't actually teach that. I'm just saying. So apparently this is the guy that started or popularized the concept of the sovereign citizen. And I guess it makes sense in some sort of broad way, right? Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight. That's going to do it for tonight's stream. We've been going for a little over 2 hours. I appreciate everybody that stopped by, that popped in. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Prophet, for engaging. Thank you, Voyage. I think you dipped out a long time ago. That's cool. And, yeah, we'll see you next Monday, most likely. If not sooner. We were going to get into the War of the Worlds tonight. We will do that next time. So I'll have to make maybe a special stream just for War of the Worlds. Maybe some night this week that I'm not doing Zoobox stuff. But anyways, thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll see you on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zoobox Live. Probably be talking about normal Zoobox stuff. All right. Goodbye.